Welcome to Spinistry Chat. This is an exciting and brand new addition to the Spinistry repertoire. We've just kicked off a brand new community site. We're going in some new directions for 2025. And one of those directions we're going into is we're reaching out to a bunch of cool events that are out there to hopefully collaborate with, point people that are looking for adventure that direction. We can't be everything for everyone, every weekend, everywhere. We want everybody to be able to get their adventure on whenever it fits into their schedule, wherever they're located. So we're excited to start working with other events to help make that happen. And today we're kicking off, and this one's really cool. It's just around the corner. It is the Veterans Gravel Grind. And with us is Mr. Cliff Coleman in association with the Veterans Gravel Grind. Welcome to the show, Cliff. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Kevin. We appreciate all the support to promote the event and actually all the great work you've done over the years putting on races that everybody's got to enjoy.
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate this, but this one's definitely about you guys. First off, the Veterans Gravel Grind, right? Let's talk about the name of the event. Where does that come from? What does that mean?
Well, a couple of years ago, we got together and we're wanting to put on a gravel race. There's a gentleman out of Kahoma that runs the Trail Warrior Project. He rides gravel all the time and he takes these veterans out on bikepacking trips and helps support them, helps build them up and recover and fosters that veteran community. So we felt a great combination to put those things together. We started putting on the Veterans Gravel Grind on Veterans Day weekend, and all the proceeds go to the Trail Warrior Project to help send those guys out bikepacking, building their community and getting better.
Excellent. And Veterans Day weekend is literally just around the corner. It's just a little over a week away. We just kicked off the brand new community site on November 1st for community. So it's really special for us to make this our first event that we're helping to collaborate with and promote. So where exactly is this hosted from? It's a Texas event. Where at in Texas?
So the event starts off and ends at the Colorado City State Park. So it's a small state park just right outside of Colorado City, Texas. Actually, that's where everybody gathers. We have the neutral rollout starts from the state park. Then we roll outside of the park, immediately onto gravel. We'll go under the big banner and the event kicks off from there, finishes in the same spot. And all of the pre-ride festivities and post-ride festivities and everything happens there at the state park. So it's a great venue. You can camp there. And then we have a big clubhouse that does all the packet pickup, all the meals and everything else will be held there inside the state park.
Is it plenty of camping still available?
There is still plenty of camping available. And not only do they have camping sites, if you're like, well, I don't want to drag my trailer all the way down there. They actually do have some cabins, and the cabins are very accommodating. They're just what you need and gives you a good place to stay. And you don't have to bring all your own RV, or you can also do primitive camping.
Okay, excellent. What are the different distances that y'all offer there?
So we have the full grind, the half grind, and then a quarter grind. So the full grind is going to be kind of the premier event. It's 89 miles total for the full grind. The half grind is actually a little shorter and it's just over 50. And then the quarter grind is 24 miles.
Okay.
So, and they all share a mutual start. And so something we've added this year that's exciting that anybody that's racing any distance can participate in is we have an early on sprint point. So the first person to that point is going to win the sprint prize. And since it's a mass start, everybody's got an equal shot at going and getting it. So
this is a timed event. This is a competitive event.
This is a timed competitive event. And there's also prize money for the winner, the male and female winners of the full grind event. So $1,200 to the top spot on the podium.
And how many years have you guys been doing this event?
This will be our third year to put the event on.
Okay. And it's been basically the same format each year?
Yes. Well, the first year we had it, we actually had it over in Kahoma. And then we moved to the state park last year because we wanted the ability to have campsites and stuff for everybody to come and stay. And the gravel over there is excellent. And, with the course starting and ending right there outside of the state park, it's made it really convenient for everybody to come and stay, and then a great place to put the event on, and also just enjoy the facilities of the park there.
Okay. So if the gravel's great, tell me a little bit more what you mean by that. What makes it great?
One car the whole time, but you're just off the edge of the Cap Rock. So you have pretty varied terrain. Actually, one climb on the course for West Texas. We're really happy to get one climb in, but there is a lot of more rolling hills than what you have in most of the region. And it's enough where you're going up, and then there's a couple of descents where you're going to pick up speed and get on top of your bike handling skills to make it down. The texture of the gravel it's hard packed on the bottom and then always has a little bit of loose on top. And since it's been so dry this year, we actually have a little bit more loose on top, but probably going to have a rain shower before the event. So the gravel ought to be in really good shape, and it's smooth and fast rolling, but it's also rough enough. You better be riding your bike and not just kind of zoning out there.
What would you say the recommended tire size is?
So you ride it on a 38. I would say anything from a 40 to a 45. I've been running 45s and loving them out there here lately.
Okay.
It sets in good. So I'd probably recommend a 40 to a 45.
All right. I'm going to throw a weird one at you. If these routes were a song, what song would it be? How about this?
Now
What genre of music would this be? Would this be country and western? Would this be hard rock?
I'm going to say it would be a little bit of rock and roll. The first thing that came to mind when you asked that was Leonard Skinner. It's like,
All right.
everybody's going to like it. Everybody's going to have a good time. There'll be some people that are super into it. So kind of like Leonard Skinner.
And it's still got a unique feel all of its own to it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's going to stand out. Well, how many people were at last year's event, and how many people do y'all think are coming this year?
Well, each year we've had a few more people. Last year we were about 115 folks showed up to ride, and we look like we're on pace to be right about that same number. Again,
Okay, excellent. Again, good chance it'll be higher if we actually get a real fall coming this way for a change.
Yes. Last year we had a little bit of rain right the day before, and at the start of the event, it was kind of cold and misty. Looks like we're going to have a little nicer weather this year, but a little bit of moisture sure does help tighten that dirt up. So
what would you say so far is your most memorable moment from one of those events?
last year at the finish of the full grind, we actually live streamed the event last year, and the full race will be live streamed again this year. So everybody got to watch the finish.
How are you doing that, and how do people get to watch it?
So we'll have a link there on the website that you can go to and watch the live stream. And we had two guys in a side-by-side last year that recorded and gave commentary. And so this year we've kind of upped our game. We got a Starlink.
Got the Starlink going?
Yeah, on the side-by-side. So we won't run out of phone coverage. Actually, it was kind of spur of the moment last year, and we're really putting some energy into it. The race organizer, Oscar Salazar, he's done a bunch of work on this. And last year, everybody got to watch the finish, and it was Connor Stewart and Justin McQuarrie.
Okay.
were the two that were off the front. And they're coming to the finishing straight, and it's bike racing. Everybody's, working the tactics and stuff. And they let Eric Burkhart back up to him.
But it happened.
And so we had a 3-man sprint, and Connor took the win. Eric got second, and Justin McQuarrie was third. So, it literally came down to the last beat of the race, and it was really exciting. And the fact that everybody got to watch it live was even better. And
that's pretty cool, because Lifetime hadn't even been able to pull that off yet. Nice job.
Yeah, so it was really fun, and there was lots of life lessons learned there. Eric, he never gave up. He chased those guys. I think the last 25 miles, it made it back there at the finish. And bike racing, you just never know how it's going to work out. And Justin's going to come back this year and race again. And so is Connor. So all those guys that fought it out at the end will get a chance to do it again this year.
Excellent. Now, earlier you had mentioned an after party type environment. So what's going
Yes.
on?
So on Friday night before the race, we're going to have a lasagna dinner. So if anybody wants to, when they come and pick up their packets, we'll have some food for them to eat there. And that's actually a little fundraiser for a young man that was injured. What we make off the food there, we'll donate to him. And then after the race, we'll have pizza for all the riders. We'll have the award ceremony, get to hand out the big checks and all the prizes. We have a ton of prizes this year. We have a bike shop here in Midland, and all of our suppliers have got on board to support the race this year. If you show up for any distance and make podium, you're going to get some really nice gifts. We'll have pizza and to feed everybody after the race and, talk about all the adventures of the day.
What advice would you give to a first-time participant of your event? Probably a gravel veteran, so not a beginner rider, but somebody that's coming to y'all's event for the first time. Any specific advice that you might offer them?
I guess the main thing was practice your cornering skills. We got some kind of high speed gravel corner. So if you can corner, you're going to be at a great advantage. And also don't forget to look up and look around in maybe West Texas, but there's actually some beautiful scenery out there. We'll go across the Colorado River, full grind, and the half grind actually turns around at the river. And so turn around at the river, that means you're going to be climbing all the way back to the finish line.
Is this a marked course or GPX only, or how does navigation work?
So we do ask everybody to, if you have a computer, load the route and make sure that you're able to navigate and get yourself around. But it is a well-marked course. We mark every turn and try to make the marking highly visible where, if something was to happen and your computer was dead or whatever, everybody's going to see the arrows. Everybody's going to know where to turn. You should be able to ride the course if your navigation equipment, did failure, everything. But so we really ask that everybody have the route, but we do mark it well enough where you ought to be able to get around without it.
Okay. And what about aid stations or resupply? How does that work for y'all's event?
All right. We got a couple of aid stations and they're going to be stocked with the Never Second nutrition. And we'll have water, gels, and all kinds of food there. With the course layout, all of the distances will go by the first aid station. And the half grind will have 2 aid stations on it, one at the turnaround point at its down at the river. And so the folks that are doing the full grind, they will actually go by both aid stations twice. So they'll have a chance for 4 aid stations that'll get them through. But so they're strategically placed where the quarter and half split. And then at the turnaround of the half, there's a aid station there. On our website with the race material, they have it marked and they're easy to find and they're strategically located because by the time you're out of fluid, you're like, oh, I get to turn around and get me some Never Second and some fresh water bottles.
Very good. Now, just to ask, to cover the bases so nobody can go they didn't know, is outside resupply allowed for the racers if they have a vehicle along the route or at one of the aid stations, or is it just the aid stations only?
Well, it's just the aid stations. These are rural gravel roads and there's not really anybody out there. And, if everybody was just planning on using the aid stations, it'll sure keep the traffic down. There won't, because most of the route, if somebody was going to get out there, they're going to be driving on the course. So we'd rather, if both plan on using the aid stations and not have their own separate support out there.
Now, you had mentioned working on their cornering skills or being up to snuff on their cornering skills for this one. Is it because they're particularly windy roads or lots of turns from one road to the next? Or why do you say that?
Just because, well, with the little bit of elevation gain that we do have, some of the corners are kind of fast, but we've added a new section of road this year that we didn't have last year. And to me, it has a European feel. It's just a little 1-lane track and it goes around the outside of a game-proof fence, a ranch. And it has, I guess it has 4 90-degree corners on it, but
Okay.
they aren't intersections.
I follow you.
And so, it's early enough in the race where you're probably going to be in a pack with people and you're going to be going fast. And it's a,
That's going to thin things out.
yeah. And it's my favorite part of the course because it's beautiful. And the other is because it's separated from everything else. And you have some fast corners on it. You have a couple single lane bridges that you go across. It's definitely a section that you better be up riding your bike on.
Okay. Now, is registration open until event day, or is there a cap on it or a cutoff time or anything like that for sign up?
You will be able to register all the way up until the day of the race.
Okay.
If you made a last minute decision and rode out with your buddy that was already signed up, we'll get you signed up in the event.
Is there a packet pickup or anything like that, or just show up that morning and take care of everything at check in?
We're going to have 2 chances to pick up packets. So Friday evening at Energy City Bikes in Midland, Texas, you'll be able to pick them up there. You can pick them up at the state park where the event starts and ends. And then you can pick them up Saturday morning right before the race starts also.
Okay. Excellent.
Get
Now, this will wrap this one up. How do you envision the future of gravel cycling and events in 5 or 10 years from now compared to where we're at now?
I guess the way I see gravel and kind of the trend, with the Lifetime Grand Prix, it's brought a lot of energy to the gravel racing, but it's also changed gravel a little bit in how they separate the pros, and then they separate the pro women, and then you have the mass start, which is exciting, but it did change it a little bit. So I think you'll see the mass start still be the majority of the events. If you want to toe the line with the pros, it's going to be a little different than it used to be, but there is still a lot of events that those guys show up to that you can race with and see how long you can hold on. But it just seems to me gravel racing is just getting faster and faster and kind of evolving that way. But it still has that community aspect to it that I think attracts so many people because you can show ride with hundreds of your new best friends, and you will have some new best friends by the end of the day because of that. You're suffering and overcoming adversity, which gravel really brings people together with.
Anything additional you want to throw into the mix, or anything that I missed, or something important that needs to be covered before we wrap this one up?
I guess one thing I do want to mention about the event that I haven't is, I said we have that sprint point that's going to be early on in the race that, there'll be additional prize there. And then on the backside of the full grind course, where the one climb is climb in air quotes, it's a West Texas climb, but on the hill on the backside, we're going to have a KOM segment there. So the first person to cross that segment is going to get the KOM prize. So if you're in the lead group and you don't think you're going to be in the mix for the win, burn all your matches and get the KOM because you're going to get a nice prize for it also. So friend point, KOM point, the live stream. So anybody that's in the event, make sure you share that link with everybody and you're probably going to get caught on camera and get to, somebody will get to see you out there ride your bike, and we'll cover the front of the race, but we'll also have a second camera that'll be catching people that aren't up there on the pointy end that are just out riding and challenging themselves. Share the link for the live stream with all your people, and they'll get to enjoy the event just as much as you did getting to watch it. So I guess those are things that kind of stand out and want everybody to be aware of.
Very good. Definitely we'll have all of the links to the event itself, your social media handles and everything like that on spinistrychat.com, which is our new community site. You'll have a dedicated thread there and also the event on the calendar. But for people that are just listening to this, that may not be coming through Spinistry itself, do you have a dedicated website URL that we want to plug, or social media handles? Or do you want me just to put links in the description?
So our Instagram page is Veterans Gravel Grind, and they can find us there. And then the sign up for the event is on Bike Reg, and it's a Veterans Gravel Grind. So they can jump on Bike Reg and get signed up. And if people just wanted to donate to the Trail Warriors Project, they can go to the Gravel Grind and they can donate there. If they weren't able to ride the event, just want to give some money to help the trail warriors, they can do that also. But yeah, we're on social media, the Instagram page. Oscar's been putting a lot of work into that to get everybody excited. So yeah, if they want to jump on there, they can kind of see the stuff surrounding it. And also it'll get them over to the bike rigs.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm going to roll the outro music unless you have something else.
Roll out. Thank you.
All right.